Boom. What's going on, everybody? Hey, wasn't training unbelievable? Awesome. Listen, I'm going to get into it. I don't have a ton of time, but I had the blessed opportunity to travel to Ireland with the company over the last week, and that's where I've been. I was there for about 9 days and just came back, and I'm super fired up. I just want to spend the next 10, 12, 13 minutes here, 15 minutes here, just kind of giving you a little bit of insight into these kinds of trips. I'll give you a little bit about the trip, and then I have some closing thoughts here. But listen, here's the way it works in WFG. This is not just some insurance deal. This is a business where you have the opportunity to travel the world. Every year, the company takes 450 couples to Hawaii. Every year. And as the company gets bigger, they take more couples. But every 3 years, the company has a super trip. And on the super trip, they take 100 couples on the super trip, and they spend the same amount of money that they do in Hawaii, but on the 100 couples. There's two sides of WFG here. There's the side where you can come here and you can do decent things, or there's a side where you can literally build your dream. See, I was told a long time ago that the biggest adventure that you can take is to live the life of your dreams. The biggest adventure that you can take is to live the life of your dreams. Qualifying for trips, listen, qualifying for trips for me validate that I'm focusing my time in the right areas. See, everybody works hard. Everybody works. If you don't work hard, then you got 0% chance of making it here. So assuming everybody works hard, it's validation I'm focused in the right areas. So you can still have a good career and you can still have a good business in WFG and never travel the world. But for me, I always believed that through hard work, perseverance, and faith in God, that I could live my dream while I built my dream. That I could live my dream while I built my dream. And He delivered this business to me. He delivered this system to me so that I could do just that. And as a result, for about 9 days, I took my sweetheart on the trip, yes, Kyle, of a lifetime. But in WFG, we do trips of a lifetime over and over and over and over again. So let me give you a little insight to the trip. We flew direct to Ireland from Calgary, and we flew overnight. But it wasn't so bad because the flight credits that WFG gave us helped us cover the fact that we flew first class in pods. We laid on beds. We slept through the night. We were served. We were catered to. We had steak for dinner, champagne mimosas when we got on the plane. Thanks to WFG flight credit for helping us with that. We flew with Cameron Michaud and Real and Claudette and Cam's wife, Leanne. We flew with our senior partners. Experienced it together. We got off the plane. We rented a private driver. No need for taxis. We rented a private driver. We went to a cave in Ireland on the way to the hotel. We stopped at a cave. The cave was 1 million years old. We started to see Canada's a baby compared to Europe. Canada's a baby compared to places like Europe and Africa and the history. And then we arrived to the Europe Hotel in Killarney, Ireland. OMG. This is one of the nicest hotels that I've ever stayed at, but they were expecting us. We walked in, there was a private WFG registration desk. I didn't have to go and check in. My keys were ready with my name on it, and I checked in. I got a little Ireland coin. I walked around the corner, and at home office had done a little pop-up store. They had jackets and purses and scarves, and the men and women got to go and pick anything that they wanted from the pop-up store at the registration desk. That's how the trip started. And then we went into our room and had Steve and Lissa welcome on our TV. We had a little gift sitting there for us, a beautiful view of the water. Then we had a beautiful reception dinner that night. There's something different about being in a room with 1%ers. See, these men and women that were on this trip, they're not better moms than you. They're certainly not better Christians. They're not better at any one of those things than any of us on this call, but they think different. They've put in the work. They stopped the stop, start mentality, and now they just do. They just do. They don't have a ton of ups and downs. They do have ups and downs, but not the kind of ups and downs that you have in the beginning where you basically quit for a while, then start, quit for a while, start. The 1%ers think differently. We had a reception dinner, and the energy, the rate of vibration with that 1%ers, I knew the trip was going to be epic just from the start of that unbelievable reception dinner that we had. And then the tour started. You can sign up for any tours that you want. The first day, went on a Skellig Island tour. We went to Skellig Island and we saw where Star Wars Episode 7, where they found Luke Skywalker up in the hills. I thought that was a green screen. That's a real place. We climbed the top of the mountain and saw where the monks lived before the Vikings pillaged their huts. We got all the history there. And then the next day we went to a local farm and we looked how they encourage sustainable farming. I'll tell you one thing about Ireland. They don't love pesticides. They don't take pesticides and spray all their canola and spray all their wheat and barley. They believe in sustainable farming. They believe in healthy farming. They believe in the climate change and what they can do to protect the world. And I was so inspired by how well they treat their crops and how well they treat their animals and how well they treat their land. And then the next day we took a train. WFG rented a private train. And we took a private train to Dublin. And we get on the train and every seat's got a champagne glass and some champagne and like strawberries. And we're sitting there and we're talking to John Shin and Jeff Levitan on a 3-hour train ride, talking about our kids and life. And then we arrived in Dublin to a beautiful hotel and we got treated the exact same way. Go in the room and there's gifts. Every single night you went back to your room after dinner, there was a new gift sitting on your bed from WFG. Handwritten note. Thank you so much for what you do. This company would not be what it is without people like you. And then in Dublin, we went to the Guinness. We went to see the tour of Guinness. And then we went to the Bailey's farm where they actually manufacture Bailey's Irish cream. The next day, we went to a Garth Brooks concert. They rented a box and we saw Garth Brooks in Dublin in a box, 80,000 people. It was the final stop of his 3-year stadium tour. It's the greatest concert I've ever been to. And he said that was the best concert he's ever done in his whole career. And I was there. And Netflix was also there too, filming a documentary on that particular show. It was the greatest show Garth Brooks had ever done. Netflix was there and so was Steve Holbrook in Dublin with his wife and 1%ers, singing along, crying, laughing. Lifelong memories over and over again. And the last night we had a farewell dinner in a cathedral. And if you haven't seen the pictures, oh my goodness. Black tie, gowns, private dinners, everything paid for. It's just fairy tale stuff. See, traveling in WFG is irreplaceable. See, you can travel the world. People say, oh, I travel the world. Great. You don't travel with WFG. There's a completely different level of traveling. I don't want to go to Hawaii on my own. I want to go to Hawaii with WFG. I don't want to go to Ireland on my own. I want to go to Ireland with WFG. I don't want to travel without WFG. I want to travel with WFG because there's just a different level. And then we got home and we are inspired and our visions are stretched and we're ready to take it to the next level because the next Super Trip contest is starting early next year. And I'm gearing up, baby, because I'm event to event, Hawaii to Hawaii, Australia to Tahiti, to Fiji, to Norway, to Ireland, whatever the trip is, I'm gearing up. Because I remember back in the day when you were where you were at right now. And I remember hearing all these leaders and these trips and these pictures in Hawaii and all these things. And I remember looking around at everybody, just like a bunch of you are looking around today. And I remember watching all these people and they were looking at this stuff like, wow. Oh, they were in awe. Everyone's like, oh, everyone's in awe. I go, like these dream trips. You go on Instagram, everyone's posting all these places, all these dream places they want to go and to travel and the pictures of water and hotels. And I didn't do any of that stuff. In terms of the awe part, I looked around and asked myself how I could qualify. And I started calculating what I needed to do to get there. And I started back engineering recruits and licenses and points because I might have missed the first trip, but they were going to have to kill me to miss the second. And once I was exposed to it, like many of you are exposed to it for the first time, hey, it's not your fault for missing the first trip. You just started. It's your fault for missing the next one. And I studied the numbers and I worked so hard to qualify for every trip. Listen, don't dream your life, live your dream. Don't dream your life, live your dream. I'm not focused on dreaming my life. I'm focused on living my dream. See, accomplishing that was more important to me than being in awe. Why awe? The idea of creating lifelong memories overpowered my doubts. It overpowered my doubts. So I made preparations to be on every trip. It's why every morning I spend 20 to 30 minutes studying the numbers. Every morning. Because I wanted to be on these trips so bad. And I wanted to know what it takes to win. See, most WFG agents give up so soon on these trips. They give up on Hawaii. It's why it's so easy to qualify for Hawaii. Because most everybody gives up. It's easy to go to Hawaii because almost everybody gives up. You have to make an effort not to go to Hawaii. It's so simple to go to Hawaii. That's how I see it. That's how I've conditioned my brain. But I knew that if I could just stay on it and just stay focused, that I had a shot at being on all the trips, and you do too. Because we're in the same vehicle, you and I. We're running the same system, same products. But my expectation is probably higher than yours was. See, I expected to win. I expected to be on the trip, just like you should start to expect out of you. You ready? Here's the shortcut. You got to get your team over 5 recruits as an associate team. 5, anything less than 5 as an associate team, you got to think bigger. And I want you to license 3 out of 5 of those. You recruit 5, you license 3. And then for those of you that want to play on the big trips, the super trips, get to 10 a month and license 5 or 6 of those. And then you build that into your team culture. A culture that believes the best product for most people is the business. A culture that believes for everybody else, we love the product side. And a culture of don't ever get tired of doing the client side. I see agents, they're tired of doing the client stuff. They're making 80, 90 grand a year. They're already tired of doing the client stuff. No shot. You can't get tired. I've been here 17 years and I'm not allowed to get tired. Come tell me you're tired after 40 years. Go talk to people that worked for 40 years. You're not tired. You're just uninspired. Listen, distracted people don't win. Victim mindsets don't win. People that win are intentional. People that win have beyond thinking, beyond their current situation thinking. They're not thinking about their Friday, Saturday. They're not thinking about their 9 to 5. They're thinking beyond that. What's behind that? What's next? They're focused. They're excited. They're intentional. They're showing up. None of the things you need to win, you needed to be born with. This is not basketball. This is not the NFL. Your genetic profile, DNA, has nothing to do with you winning here. It's just you. That's it. That's all you need. Now, I believe if you're a good person and you do the right things and you stick around long enough, you are going to win no matter what here. That's what I believe. And I believe you're all destined to do big things. But for those of you that want to live the dream while you build the dream and be on some of these trips, you got to get your numbers up. You got to keep them up. You got to stay inspired. You can't start stopping. You can't keep dropping 2 or 3 recruits in an entire month as a team and expect to do anything great here. It's 5 or bust. It's 10 or bust. And for everybody who wants to play in the big girl, big boy pool, it's beyond that. And maybe that's a separate conversation for maybe a handful of you that want to take it to the next level. But at the end of the day, everybody on this call has the opportunity to live the dream through WFG. Everybody has the opportunity to travel the world. And we know that a bunch of you are coming. We know that a bunch of you right now, maybe your associates, your TAs, you're just getting licensed. We know a bunch of you have what it takes to be on these trips. But you got to be intentional with it. And just understand that most don't come on the trips because they don't focus on it and they quit on it. And that's okay too. But that just frees up more room for you and your family to win and travel the world. I want it all, baby. I want it all. I want to travel, make big money, live my dream, right? Raise my family around the world. I wanted it all. I just didn't want half of WFG. I don't want 80% of WFG. I don't want 90% of it. I want it all. I want it all. I want everything that I'm coming for. I want to get all of it. Every last ounce out of this opportunity. I want to squeeze all of it out of here. Every last drop. Leave nothing on the table. So that when my time is up, I can look back 40, 50 years of Hawaii in a row, traveled the world, 40, 50 other countries, made millions, saved millions, gave millions away, impacted millions of lives, licensed millions of people in multiple countries all around the world. And then I'll feel fulfilled on my deathbed. And that's how it's going to go. On purpose, with purpose. Everybody has the same opportunity. So I hope you guys are fired up. There's still time to get it to Hawaii for those of you that aren't quitting on it. And if you do quit on it, it's just going to open up another spot for somebody on a different team to go. So it's either you quit on it or somebody else quits on it. But it's you against them every day. And really, it's you against you. So I appreciate you guys. We're in the greatest opportunity in the world to live your dream while you build your dream. And I hope you see it the way I see it because it's so worth it. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome Saturday.